Welcome to the best of the tie-in.
Well, thanks everybody for being here. This afternoon, we're speaking with Andre Champagne. And Andre is an entrepreneur, producer, longtime fixture in Hollywood and film production. He's also an innovator with Hollywood Trucks and the Ecolux line of clean energy trailers.
In the down times of COVID for our industry, you said you were out there looking around. You were learning more. You were not just on the sideline. What did you learn in that time, and how is that being used now as you relaunch the company?
Yeah, I mean, technology really is the rate limiting factor to how fast we can completely saturate our industry with clean vehicles, respectively. What occurred is you had a lot more of the OEMs. And when I say the OEMs, your Ford, Peterbilt, all of these companies, Rivian, Tesla, any of them that are building the chassis or what I call the propulsion side. Mm-hmm. These guys, some of them came to market, they were never there before, and they weren't there in different classifications. So even electric vans, and things like that. So we saw that come to the forefront, and granted, there's still a significant, growth pattern there. But also what I saw was on the technology side as well. Like, for instance, when we first, we were really one of the first, if not the first company to put mobile lithium ion batteries in a trailer safely. Mm-hmm. And so when I say safely, is that took a significant amount of time, just because that's the main thing, it's one thing to have great tech, but, it's not really a good marketing perspective if you've got trailers out there, catching on fire or anything like that. So anything we ever built, safety was the first metric across the board. But what you're going to see now is that PV panels are getting stronger, and when I say stronger, efficiency ratios. So I always tell people, you can imagine in a world if you move the efficiency of standard PV panels going to be between 19 and 22% efficiency. That's not very high. Yeah. That's a major area that can change. Imagine if you had a panel that was producing 80% efficiency. The amount of power you can generate from I think it's like 174,000 terawatts of power per second that the sun's hitting us with, would be gigantic. But also, I think, on the mobile lithium side too, obviously, there's lots of different chemistries out there, whether it's cobalt or iron phosphate or tetnate or any of these other, you're going to see those shift into solid state, where you've got a safer type of a very safe battery with a really remarkable amount of efficiency and ability to hold a substantial amount of power. And so if you just move those two metrics, like the PV to 80% and solid state in the vehicle, you'd have an energy autonomous asset for years, potentially perpetuity.
So on those lines, we've seen all these portable power stations out there. We're seeing a lot of movement in the space. What's your vision for the, in 15 years out here, the set of the future?
Oh, that's cool. I just, if you can take for a moment and just think and just walk with me down this path, like you're going to walk on set 15 years, you said 15 years?
15, 30.
All right. Well, that's a lot.
Or how 10. Soon do you think this is, what I mean? Like 10, 5, what? Our industry,
5 and 10s. Like the tech is there. Yeah, the tech is there, so 5 and 10. So, I even say in less than 3, you're going to walk out, and you're going to have an entire base camp with, let's say, every single one of the, let's say 1 rooms, 2 rooms, 3 rooms, wardrobe, hair and makeup, everything, all with solid state in it, all with PV on the roof, and so all connected into so the new fleet that we're building and launching, every one of them can, what we call, DC to DC fast charge or actually interlock into each other. So, you're going to see that combined with take a 53-foot semi trailer, that can already hold a substantial amount of a battery bank in there. Let's say that's solid state. combined with you've got approximately 9,000 watts of power on the roof, tied into a Tesla Semi, which is sitting there with a megawatt of storage right now on that truck. So again, let's think about this. You've got, let's say 30 vehicles at base camp. You've got probably 5 semis. That's 5 megawatts of storage right there already. Plus the additional, every single one of those trailers, you're probably adding another 3 megawatts. So now you're at 8 megawatts of power just sitting there with 100,000 watts of power on the roof. So I believe the chance that you'll ever, quote, hear a generator run again is really going to become obsolete very quickly, and you're going to have so much residual power at that base camp that you could even, for us, it's all mathematical. So, you can tell how long a trailer is going to run, quote, autonomously, or I call it energy autonomous. Like, autonomous driving's cool, but autonomous power is really cool. Yeah. So you can tell mathematically how long that vehicle is going to run without, even in, let's say, an ounce, or a watt of power from the roof, So I think you're going to get to the place where, very quickly, for me, I can't speak too much to it, but I'd say in like 7 months, you're going to see some of them out there, maybe less than that, and also the coolest thing, think about this. When we all know, like, you roll up on base camp, the production semis tied into the 53s. Imagine when now the loudest vehicles on the road will make no sounds. And then when you're taking that 53 and you're tying it into that actual semi, and you now have a mobile power plant moving down the street that's got its own charging station, you may never have to plug that truck in again. You just keep it tied into. So that's what I'm looking at as far as, that's why I say autonomous power is what I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
So every vehicle that's electric will be tied into all of the other equipment on the set, on location, tied into your electric generators, tied into the building, tied into wherever.
Well, even further than that, so, I was just at a studio last week, and we're already talking about and planning exactly what, studios by nature are large real estate developments. And when you think about it, let's talk about any studio. You've got sometimes hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these vehicles on the lot. And right now, they're all tied in. That's for you. Yeah. They're all tied in to the lot. But within a certain amount of time, they'll be tied in, but number one, they're not pulling from your grid anymore. So they are not consuming power from your grid. And number two, we can grid sell back to you. So all that free power that we're just catching and producing, we can send it back to you now. So the issue, or the new dynamic is going to be with all of the new builds and stuff is, number one, are you metering the lot to take the power, the free power, the amazing free power that we just give to you, to take that in? Or number two, are you adding battery backup to store it there as well? Either or do both, which is amazing.
So you're saying that this could even be a revenue generating model for you and your fleet. You're rethinking now, you become a utility because you've got 8 megawatts of power in your one base camp, and you've got multiple base camps on a studio lot.
Absolutely. We call it VAS. It's like vehicle as a service, or V2G, vehicle to grid. These vehicles are going to become mobile power plants, and they can produce, if you want to say a profit center for the studio, they'll produce it in 2 ways. Number one, depending on how you want to quantify that power that you're getting back, the studio can monetize that however they like. Number two, we're creating carbon credits for them. So you've got 2 new revenue streams that have never really been activated yet in our business. And that is how, like that, you can bet within 3 years, I mean, we're going to be doing it, but I don't know about other vendors, but we're going to be doing it. There's no reason not to, because the tech is there now and it's free power.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're saying this will evolve in 3 years, 5 years?
It's going to,
how long is this? Yeah.
The time is going to be determined by two really core things, and number one, it's going to be studio mandates, like the studio will be able to, I think it's going to be wonderful for them to begin to mandate this, like have a phased mandate rollout, very similar to how, let's say, government says by 2031, we need all of these semis to be this. Any studio can put that in place now. Any major could say, hey, Studio X, by 2031, we are never going to rent these types of, class 2 vehicles again, or, and you start phasing that in. But the other factor, so I think that could accelerate it, but also, the other factor is going to be technology. And technology always determines how fast some of these things really change. So for instance, like take back when, Jobs raised up the iPhone.
Yeah.
That changed everything because there was a quantifiably superior product out there, Android, whether
I love my BlackBerry.
I know you do. But but you understand like what I'm saying in the fact that like there was it changed the phone forever. And every other company, you either had to understand how to make something similar to that, or so I think, on the private sector side, you're going to see both of those. But I mean, the studio can mandate it as well as, let those individuals who are, companies like mine, or anyone else in the field, hopefully everyone subscribes to it and sees it to a place where, hey, we're doing something it's not only really good for you commercially, obviously, but, just the simple pleasure of walking on a set and it's just silent and there's no fumes and there's no anything is like, and by the way, like it's really cool, just to watch these things run and they make not a sound. Like that's what I tell people. It's like, just wait till you see a 53 footer pull up that doesn't make a sound. I mean,
and generating its own electricity.
Yeah, and it's generating its own power. Yeah, you could drive it from LA to, let's say, New York,
Andre, I think you forgot one thing too. What about the stars of the productions and the talent? Like, I mean, that is an opportunity to drive. They want to be in the trailers. They want to demand the trailers. How much of a role does that play? Because the studios still are not mandating that everything
great point. Any star can say, I want this, but that's a actually fantastic point that commonly gets overlooked, but like we were talking about earlier, the part that shocked me the most when I got into the environmental side of clean transportation was, again, how dirty it actually was. And when I'm saying that in respect to being inside of the actual trailer. And, we were one of the, LEED doesn't certify mobile assets, but there is a group called TRA certification out of Elkhart, Indiana, and when we took the painstaking, process of sourcing plywood from this area and doing it was because the VOC levels inside the trailer were just astronomical. But on the talent side, for them, it's creature comfort. They're living in these things day after day after day. And so, what you want it to be, think about it. When you're sitting in a vehicle that is the exact same decibel level as this, that's pretty enjoyable. Or, you don't have that tailpipe of that, let's say, Onan 7 kW diesel generator burning right off the side with off-gassing, and which is, again, dangerous, but you enhance the human experience, So what we found were that the more of these vehicles we started building, the more top level talent began to come. And then, and even guys like, James Cameron and John Landau and those guys, who were, who came and said, I want one, I want these for me personally, on set, for me, that was like a dream come true because, here's a guy who really, and I sat there, talking about how every part was built, just so, and he's like, I love it, and he's like, man, you're in the wrong business. You need to, he's like, go into a different, bigger business or something, and we were kind of joking about it, but, he kept those vehicles there for 2.6 years, never burning an ounce of fuel, never being plugged in. Mm-hmm. And at times we would tie other things into it. I had to drop the tanks of fuel, and because we kept an onboard generator on it just because of the fact that some coordinators, they get scared, they get nervous, or that, they want double or triple redundancies. So we would just keep it there, but I'd have to go in there at times and drop the fuel out of the vehicle because it went bad. So we just stopped putting it in, and didn't even put the plugs back into the generators, because there was no reason to.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We'd love for you to like, subscribe, and share. We do this because we love doing it. We believe in what we're doing, and we believe in the amazing guests that we have. So please share this with a friend and a colleague and spread the word.
Our designer is Aaliyah Kane. Music is by Peter Chapman. Social media is by Sharon Ewan. Our editor and producer is Rachel Werbel.